What's up, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla SPY in the overall market. Just note that I am not a financial planner, so make sure you take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $2,000, you're guaranteed 30 in total. And the offer ends very soon at the end of March. Anyways, I want to give you guys a very, very quick update. Tesla's trying to push right here, and I do think there's potential for it to try to fill this gap. If we break 394, I'm looking for 402 as our target. And overall, Tesla's doing a good job of trying to push. The market's holding up well so far, but whether or not this continues depends on some factors. Please know that after market close today, we have AMD, Alphabet, and Snap all announcing their earnings. Alphabet/Google is going to be a big one, so look for a lot of volatility because of this, and we'll see what happens with these big tech earnings. Google is going to cause a lot of volatility, guys, so get ready. And if you're holding anything overnight, just be careful, especially if you're trying to play this or even like hold the QQQ overnight, any like positions. I would just warn you to be very, very careful. Now, I also want to add that for tomorrow, there's not really much data coming out except until like 10 a.m. So after the market ends up opening, we have major data coming out for the ISM services sector. So I'll talk more about that later on, but for now, just keep that in mind. So as far as Tesla's going, we're forming a nice accumulation right here. As long as we hold 386, we're looking for us to try to hold above 390 as well. If we had lost 386, we would turn back down, so keep that in mind. So far, Tesla's doing a good job at holding above this 200 EMA. And now we have this big gap to fill back up to about 402. So if we get good earnings and the market pushes tomorrow, this could help Tesla try to push once again to fill this gap if we break 394, and I see potential in this. But this does depend on some data and earnings, so just keep that in mind. SPY is looking a bit more bullish. If we break 602, I'm looking for the 604 to 605 range and eventually closer to all-time highs if that breaks. One thing worth mentioning is that we had a high up here. We came down, made a lower high. So I'll watch and see as we approach all-time highs. Does SPY make a lower high if we do push more, or do we get a big rejection beforehand? And that depends on our earnings and data. As of right now, it's looking a bit more bullish, like it wants to go up to 605, but we'll see just to be safe depending on these earnings. The triple Q or Invesco QQQ looks more bullish. If we lose 521, we will turn back down to about 518 to 516. And as long as we're above 521, we have the potential to go up to 525 and eventually 528. So I see some upside potential on the QQQ. It could try to push higher. So we'll give this the time it needs as more buyers try to return. I think that it's doing a good job. So be very, very mindful of this. I think that this may try to push higher depending on how earnings goes. It does look bullish, but we'll see just to be safe depending on how Google ends up doing. Most likely, I think we should be fine. The Russell 2000 looks bullish as long as we don't lose 226. We're favoring upside for 228. Just to go over a couple, a couple more. ES, if we could try to break this high up here around the 6070 area, I think 6100 plus becomes a target. If we lose 6036, we will turn back down, but there's potential for upside in this. For NQ, we look a bit more bullish. As long as we don't lose 21,500, we're favoring upside for 21,700. Crypto is a little bit weak. We're just shuffling around 98 to 99,000 on Bitcoin. Hopefully, we try to break back up of 101,000. Nvidia looks more bullish. If it breaks 120, we're looking for an attempt for 121.5 or above. Tesla, like I said before, it has potential to push more. I want to see if 233 breaks on Apple. If it does, I'm looking for 236. If not, it could be returning to 230, but it looks a bit more bullish to me. Coin is a little bit weaker. We're going to be watching to see a test of 277.5 to see if that holds. As long as that holds, we will continue to range bound like this. If we lose 277.5, we turn back down. So I'm hoping we hold and bounce. Amazon looks more bullish, making higher highs and higher lows. We could be pushing for about 245. Meta looks more bullish. As long as we don't lose 700, we favor 710. Microsoft could be bouncing depending on what Google does. I think it's going to follow Google. And I think that there's a good chance that Alphabet helps this push. I do hope so. If we break like 412, we're looking for 415 or so. So we'll see about that. And then Google/Alphabet is pumping as well. Hopefully earnings go well and this thing continues to break to all-time highs and continues to soar. I really would love to see this break past the 210s. We'll see, guys. So like I said before, if you're holding anything overnight, be careful. Yes, the market looks like it wants to push higher now, but whether or not that happens will depend on how these earnings go. With that being said, and the last one I want to mention is AMD, then I'll complete the video. AMD is also looking bullish. It looks like it wants to go into like the 120s. As of right now, we have like this double bottom structure, but whether or not this pans out depends on what happens with the earnings. So we'll see. There's a big gap to fill up here. Do we start pushing to fill that gap and start breaking out? Or does AMT get a rejection? We'll have to wait and see. With that being said, I'm optimistic, but we'll see just to be safe. Like I said before, be careful, guys, in case you guys are holding anything overnight. And I'll wish you all the best. See you guys very soon with another update, and peace out.